You all right? We're back for a Friday night. Let me get into this content here. Let's see here, live. Gotta go there. Oh, shoot. Turn that on. Save. See, I wish this, I don't know why the hell this won't stay where it's supposed to. Customization, live chat, save. All right. So, one watching. I guess that's probably me. Let's see, we want to do. There's Gary.
Oh,
Well, welcome Gary to our Friday night hangout. We'll see how it works. If I lose any members because of Friday night hangouts, I'll quit doing it. As most people know, I'm a kind of a do-it-yourself kind of guy. Made my own teeth, and I make everything. Well, my rings needed adjusting, so I could either go to the jewelry store and pay $50 to have them adjusted, or I can go on Amazon, buy the tools for $15 and do it myself.
yeah.
And then when I need to resize another set, I'll have this stuff. Oh, 15 bucks. I don't know how many people are going to come on tonight. Whatever, we'll run it for an hour. If nobody comes on, I'll just turn it off. You watching the chat?
Oh, yeah. Nobody on yet. 5 watching looks like, but
And they got this plastic on here like unbelievable. It's like Cosmoline.
what a coincidence. You're talking about rings, and I just lost one. But lost a little weight or something. It just fell off, and I can't find it. So I don't know where it.
Now, I lost my mother's diamond ring that I had made from her diamonds while at work in Ohio, and I'm still bummed out about that. I can't believe them guys wouldn't give that back to me when they found it. I know it's in the shop. Everybody knew it was mine.
Yeah.
Wasn't worth a whole lot of money. It was, it cost me 500 to have made, but it was my mother's.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's a pretty nice tool here. I guess I could use this for spreading open and brew line filters. I could have done this with a rolling pinch wedge if I had one,
Mm.
a brake part.
I guess Bernie Blackburn. I'm on first time, he says.
Okay, Bernie, go to Stunt Hangar and click the link and come on in. That's a 7. That's too small. That's an 8. That's too small. That's an 8.5. Well, that's kind of there. 9. Yeah, that's too small. 9.5. Maybe a 10. Not try a 10. Yeah, 10. Okay. And here comes the real Steve Smith.
I'm gonna
Uh,
change my name to the real Gary Sinclair.
And it's way small.
What is?
This ring. I'm going to manipulate it.
Your wedding ring?
No, just a regular ring.
You making a pinky ring for Gary?
No.
no. He's working on his ring, and I just tell him I just lost one today. This must
Uh-oh.
have dropped off my finger somewhere. I don't know.
I've never had a ring in my life. Not a class ring, not nothing.
Huh.
I think I could count the number of days on all my toes and fingers that I've worn a watch too. I just can't stand them.
I got one of them too.
A watch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
couple nice ones.
Let's use my phone.
Might have to heat this up.
Marky, what are you doing? You look like you're becoming a jeweler.
Yeah, adjusting the ring.
He is becoming a jeweler.
Sound like you might got a little cold there, Phil.
Oh, I've got something. Vicky's had that bronchitis for a week. She's getting over it, so naturally now it's time for me to catch it. A week before we go for our trip. So I'll go.
And
I'll go tomorrow, Monday, and get a Z-Pack and get over it.
I have spotted a box that I can send those things to you.
Okay.
I'm going to sell them to you along with the canopy mold if I can find it. I mean, if I got to spend an hour or two looking for it, it ain't worth it.
Yeah. That looks like a mandrel for a. That looks like a ring mandrel. Looks like it's made for that.
Exactly what it's made for.
from my, I don't have you maximized, but in my small view laying there, it looks like a little tune pipe.
Well, it's got a groove up the back side of it, though.
Like all good tune pipes.
Yeah, I'll look for it later. I think it's over there in the corner. But
Just let me know if you need to borrow it back. That's not a problem.
no,
I just want to get mine and Tommy's done.
I'll tell you why I'm doing it that way. I don't have time to be molding you stuff, and I don't have time to. I mean, I don't have wood that I'm going to be given.
Yeah, I got good wood. I got enough to do that.
Man.
All right, now I gotta ask, who's got the English Bulldog? What are you doing, painting it or what?
What that?
What?
Whose English Bulldog is that? You got the Boston Bulldog, or you marking on there?
Oh, that's a mouse pad. I had a dog like that years ago.
I did too, once upon a time. She was a mess. Snorted all the time.
She flat like a mouse pad?
No, she wasn't flat. She was worse than Jack about having to be up in your lap if you were sitting down.
Oh, I see it now. I couldn't figure out it was sideways. How's Steve's airplane coming?
We'll get it done probably end of the year.
That's bad. That is bad.
You ever get your test turned in, Phil?
No, I tried to send it again and it didn't go. So I'm gonna try. I'll try again next week.
You
I'm
know what I did? Steve
me and
ended
my
up
wife
telling
did.
me. I
What's
just
that?
I just took pictures of each page and text him the picture.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, it was his idea. I
Didn't
wish
think
I could
about
have
that.
claimed it, but
Okay,
that's what.
I'll try that. I didn't think
Yeah,
about that. I was surprised how easy it was to get the book offline. I did not expect to be able to do that.
I got an F
An F.
on my test.
Well,
No, I don't know. He did.
I
You'd
don't
hope
know.
I'd do better than that on an open book test, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I would hope so.
There were a couple though that the answer I knew the answer, but it didn't quite jive with.
Well, there was one that the one about if you get blown out of a maneuver and you come back to it, what do you get scored? That one kind of threw me for a loop. I had to look that one up because I got zeroed for it in a contest test.
You're supposed to get what it's worth, but you don't get pattern points.
Well, if it don't blow you out of it, and you go back to it, and then you do a second one, it's a maneuver that you do twice. The second one, you do the second one, then the minimum you're supposed to get if you do a pattern that
10.
is a 10.
Yeah.
But I got zeroed. One of the guys fussed that I had messed it up, and the judges listened, got tired of hearing him fuss, and gave me a 0, which cost me pattern points. And that took me from second place to fourth place. I said, well, that was real nice of him.
You know what you need to practice doing?
What's that?
When you cut the brake line, you don't cut all the way through it. You cut most of the way through.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I know about all that.
okay.
No, he's already passed away since then. Oh, he raised heck that day though. Man, he was just adamant about it. I said, damn, I got a book down in the car. We'll go look at it, but you're dead wrong. So I went down the car and looked at it, and one of the guys said, look, I'll give you the dang trophy. I just don't want I don't want to hear any more of his mouth. I said, okay. As long as somebody knows that this is not right, I'm fine with it. But he didn't want me to do well in the contest at all. I don't know what the problem was, but
was it a local contest?
yeah.
That's
Yeah, he took me on as a personal vendetta for something. I haven't figured out what I did to him because I was forever doing things for him, putting in fans and hooking up electrical stuff for him. And then every time I turned around, he was trying to stick me in the back. And I said, my God, what's going on here? And then he called me and asked for a favor. I finally had to tell him, I just don't think I need to be going over there and spending my time and gas to come and do you a favor for you to do me like you did at the contest. I just, mm-mm. And he said, well, it's right. It's right. I said, no, it's not. And I've got the book to prove it. So I let it go at that. But to the points on the maneuver would have hurt me. That would took me out of first. Getting blown out of the maneuver took me out of first. But the pattern points took me from second to fourth. So that's 25 points for pattern points.
I didn't quite understand what you meant. I thought maybe if you missed the maneuver and went back and did it, yeah, you get scored for it, but you don't get pattern points.
No, I did it.
You get 10 points.
Yeah, no, I just got blown out. I went to do the inside loop and got blown almost to the ground. I dang near landed, but I went back up and did the outside portion and did the other inside. It was overhead 8. And you got blown out. So you got 0. No, you don't get 0. You get 10 just because you could tell what I was trying to do.
I think all it says you have to do is start the maneuver and you get 10.
Yeah. But anyway, it was one of those deals where I just.
And then if you go back and refly it, your 10 turns into whatever they give you for the completed maneuver, right?
Yeah. Well, the second one was I was real proud of the second one, but the second one didn't have a blooming gust of wind and about put me down, took people's hats off.
Look up there.
This shirt supports my what?
Track. It was I was still heavy into the RC car racing when COVID hit and a lot of indoor tracks had to shut down. So on the back of the shirt are a bunch of industry sponsors. and
Yeah,
they shipped in money. And if you bought the t-shirts for like 20 something bucks, if you bought a t-shirt, they would give, and I think they spent $12 making them. They would give the profit to whatever track you designated when you bought
Yeah.
it.
yeah. Those
Yeah.
tracks are bigger in here. I remember when we used to have go-kart tracks when I was a kid. That's how I got into go-kart racing. But then we had slot cars. And I used to get in slot cars big, and I'm just really
Yep.
having a good time with that. But then
Most of
the RC cars hit. I was just getting big into stunt. So I bought two RC cars, a frog and a grasshopper for
Oh
my
yeah.
two daughters and let them race them. And the guys used to ask me, please leave these girls at home. They're hurting us. So then I bought my youngest daughter an RC10. And I mean, she just embarrassed them. Her hand-eye coordination was crazy. I mean, she's wore the guys out. I tried to get her to fly stunt, and she says, Daddy, I'm just not interested. It's too loud and it's too noisy and it stinks. I said, well, too loud and too noisy, same thing, honey. But if it's
That sounds like this cat.
yeah. If I wasn't allergic to it, I'd have one of those, but I can't handle them. I got a friend.
This one's for sale.
No, I got a friend's got a Maine Coon.
Look at
You
that
gonna
ugly
give me-
face.
You gonna give me 20 bucks to take it?
Look at that ugly face. There's the other one you can't see off camera to the left, and there's a jealousy issue here. So they love each other. They don't fight. They curl up in a ball and snuggle. But when it comes to me, if one of them's near me, the other one doesn't want, they can't possibly
share
at the same time. Now she's
Yeah.
not on this side. See, she came over to where the side the other cat was going to approach from to cut her off.
Yeah.
She's blocking her.
They're territorial.
Yeah, these two. So I didn't intend to get two girl cats, but I wanted two cats. So they keep each other company when I'm not here. When I went to adopt this one, the other cat was the place they adopt these pets out of is an old public grade school in East St. Louis, Sparky. It's the Miles Davis Grade School. That's what it used to be. But they had a whole classroom that was the cat room. And the cat I came over to look at was in there. And the other cat was in there with her too. And she said, oh yeah, these two are just about inseparable. And I was like, well, at least I know they'd get along. So
Yeah.
I went ahead and adopted them both at the same time. And they do get along. They're best friends.
There you go. Sparky, can you see the monitor? I don't know if I can show this where you can see it. Remember contests like this?
That looks like FCM.
No, that's actually let me see.
Heard they're having FCM this year again.
No, that's East Coast Golden Oldies at Myrtle Beach the first year.
Yeah,
And
I
we had a
remember
heck of a
contests
tournament.
like that.
You fly
had
one round and then play golf, and then fly another round and then play golf.
No, we flew 3 or 4 rounds each day, 2 rounds anyway, each day. I think it was 2 rounds. And you were lucky to get through that. Now that's classic and old timers mixed, but God, there was a bunch of people showed up for that thing. And we had a fun time. I know 10 of those, I was looking at the picture earlier today, 10 of those people are not with us anymore. Mike Garman and 2 of his buddies are both gone now. They were there, and it was an awful time. Terry McDowell's gone, and it's crazy.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get this ring to go up one full size. I think I'm going to have to cut it, spread it, and solder it back together.
Are you gaining weight?
Yeah.
Is that what it is, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Try heating it and then put it on there, Sparky.
I did that already, but ain't no way.
look, in by.
Sparky, you're gonna do what I've got to do. You're gonna have to get out and walk more. You can't raise if you can't raise the river, if you can't raise the bridge, lower the river. Lose a little weight. That's what I've got to do. I don't have a choice. I got this young doctor, a cardiologist. She's about that big around. Beautiful girl, but she's about that big around. And she looks at me and says, you need to exercise a little more. practice your pushaways and get out and exercise a little more. And I'm sitting there, sweetheart, as beautiful as you are, if you were a guy, I'd slap you. Can't hit girls, but doggone it. I'll tell you what. They get the best of me sometimes.
It ain't
Oh,
both sides.
I forgot how they used to do it. There's a thing that goes up in those things, and as you tighten it down, it's the two edges go up in the ring, and as you tighten it down, they stretch it that way. But
Yeah.
now when you get through with it, you have to re-round it because you've stretched it out around. But
I might buy one of them. I was going to, but decided, nah, we'll just try the $15 thing, but no, that didn't work. I mean, I can get this on my finger. It goes over my knuckle, but it hurts my hand because my finger's too fat.
yeah, that's the way my wedding ring's getting. That's the reason I got to lose weight.
You could go with the wedding tattoo.
Nah. No, I worn the real one for 50. Well, it'd be 50 years next Friday.
You could use an O-ring that way to expand with you.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good idea, Sparky. Problem is, dirt things won't last 50 years. Oh, Lord.
Or you could do with that sinew like they put on the male reindeer when they don't want them to be male anymore. But those shrink when they get wet, I think.
Yeah.
And they keep shrinking and shrinking.
You know the thing about reindeer, though, the 8 that are popular, they're all females.
Gary wants to say hi to you. He likes you, Moon Pie. Say hi to Gary. He's right here.
Hi.
That's the one that's the one you hadn't seen yet. That's the one that makes the other one jealous.
Yeah. They're cute.
Yeah, they're both pretty good.
I had a neighbor that had a cat. It was a Persian. And the cat was only about this big around,
No, but a lot of hair.
but it looked about this big around.
Yeah.
Black party colors, little patches everywhere. I called him
Did it have
DC for
blue
darn.
eyes?
Huh?
Did it have blue eyes?
I think it did, but I can't remember. It's been 20
That's
years.
kind of the Persian thing. The pure Persian is white with blue eyes normally.
But this darn thing, I didn't like cats because I was allergic to them. But this darn thing took up with me, and I had a little Datsun Roadster convertible. I still got it. It's in the basement, but I was driving it every day back then. And then local cats would get on that car, and the weekends I'd end up spending patching holes in the top where they got up there and stretched and got their claws in the top and punched a hole in it.
Yeah.
Well, once DC took up with me, I'd get home, I'd pull out in front of the house in the afternoon, spark the car, and I'd hear plop, and that cat, I just reach up and pet the cat on top of the car. Never had another hole in my top. Never even had a cat print on my car after that. I don't know how that happened because he's got feet, but never had a muddy paw print on the car after that. But boy, I heard some cat fights out there. It's another cat that tried to get near that car, and DC would tear him up. Oh, Lord. I love that cat.
It's unbelievable. I've been sitting right here and that pinky ring jumped off and it's gone. Ain't nowhere on the bench.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on, Sparky. You're kidding.
Nope.
How's it going, Roy?
Good, good.
What's new and exciting?
Not a thing.
Oh, come on.
Plugging away on an old twister, well, a new twister, but covered
Yeah.
the fuselage last week and then took it all off.
No.
Apparently, I didn't have as many coats of dope as I thought.
Yeah. Sparky got me interested in doing a darn twister again. I got the kit out, and I'm going to have to figure out where it's going to fit in the rotation to get it built. That's going to take a while. Won't take but a week to build it. He's right, but
Is it a SIG or is it a
it's a
Walter
SIG.
omelet or-
It's a SIG, but I'm going to use it for parts and build a new one. I'm just going to build one up because this thing, I mean, you talk about die crushed. That's one problem. The other problem is I don't think they could have found heavier wood. I mean, this stuff is, the leading edge is, oh my gosh,
My
it's hard.
my cousin really likes the twister. I think Sparky's put some paint on a few of them for him.
Now, Twister's the plane that taught me the pattern. I destroyed about 6 SIG Mustangs, and finally realized that forgot his name, that did real well at the Nationals. One had cored the wing and extended the fuselage and done a lot of other things to it that I had not done. And having met him a few times since, Mr. Lee is just a much better pilot than I am, period. His son, not Jim, but his son. I cannot think of his name right now. I know him well and think the world of him, but
Todd,
brain fart. Todd, there you go. The man can fly.
Is that the Jim Lee from by us, Sparky, down out there in Kansas City?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Lee's machine comes.
I don't have any twister kits, but I do have a couple sets of Elliott Scott, I guess, was having ribs cut for the Fancherized twister. So I bought a couple sets of them.
What do you charge for them?
I don't remember, $40 maybe or something.
Good grief.
$45.
Next time you want some, call me. I'll cut you some out there as slick as laser cut, and they're not laser cut. Just I've got a metal 1/8" aluminum. I take a lay on top of it and I cut it a little big with a scalpel, and then I sand it down to the marks. And they're dead exact.
I think I probably got a lifetime supply of twister ribs now for me. But they were neat because I guess he had them made with there's a little tab built into the back of them, so you you could build them flat,
Build them flat on the table. Yeah, that's nice.
Well, I could use a set of them so I could redo this wing,
Redo what wing?
the twister wing.
Uh-oh.
His twister wing warped.
It ain't straight. That's basically why I lost interest in it.
Ah.
Well, I tell you what, if you take a twister and you hollow out the fuselage and extend it 2 inches, and then sheet the sides of it with either plywood or 16th balsa and glue it up, you got a real good flying airplane.
All you got to do is change it so it's like a trophy trainer or a magician.
That's it. That's it. Just turn it into something else and it flies real good.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
But stock, it just ain't the plane everybody thinks it is.
Well, we had a guy here in St. Louis that could kick your ass.
Don't tell Dan's story.
John Garrett was the best pilot. He could beat anybody with that twister. I'd put him up against Joe Gilbert.
Does he still have it?
No, he wore it out.
Okay. I heard he wore out 3 engines with it.
Yeah, he does not fly as good as these other airplanes, as good as he did with that twister. He flew that thing in the wind. It didn't matter, just over and over and over and over. He was great with it.
Yeah, but I saw Joe Gilbert fly a ringmaster, and I'm not talking about a 5.76 or the 5.76 with flaps. I'm talking about a ringmaster, and genuinely win an advanced contest. And I mean, he genuinely whooped him with a ringmaster.
Back in the day, about the 90s, I would put Garrett against Joe Gilbert. Joe Gilbert knows John Garrett, so you can ask him. He was great with it.
Boy,
Did I ever go to the Nats?
No.
There have been some guys that flew some planes that you would never believe were that good, that could really fly them. Tom Looper had a Viking that I don't think anybody ever beat. I thought that I had beat him, and I was looking through these pictures, and I was wrong. I had to eat my words on that when he was flying a guided whistle when I beat him. I don't think anybody ever beat that Viking.
Is that because he knew where the tip jar was for the judges?
No, Tommy was just that good. He's 82 now, and he's slowed down a good bit, and he's not flying. Well, hell, I'm not flying as good as I was 20 years ago. But it's the same. Tommy could flat. I mean, he showed up at a contest at Huntersville and flying a super duper zilch. and one expert, one old time and expert with the same airplane. Loop was just amazing in his day, buddy. He was incredible. He's still darn good. When I build a new airplane, I put up 2 or 3 flights on it, and then I ask Tommy if he'll help me trim it. And I see him. He'll fly it 2 or 3 times and tell me what to do to it, and I do what he says, and it's ready to take to the contest. He's amazing. He's also a heck of a pilot, Carver.
Switching gears here for a second. So that your silk span didn't stick to the fuselage because there wasn't enough dope underneath it?
I think I had thinned out the dope too much from previous project.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had about good 4 coats on it, but there wasn't enough dope in it.
Yeah.
Sparky, is it true that you decided to convert that to a take apart airplane?
Yeah.
Now?
No.
I'm joking.
It gassed off a half ounce. It's 61.5 ounces.
Well, there you go. You got enough extra leeway to put the hardware in to take it
Oh
apart.
God, you don't want to turn that into a take apart. Let me get you some good wood, and I'll just come get that one, and you build another one, make it take apart. It's too late to screw that one up. Whew. Eventually, all the good ones end up as take apart airplanes again. They all get taken apart one time.
Yeah,
No,
they just don't get
they're
figured
come
out.
apart. They're not
Mm.
take apart. They're come
Put that
apart.
together.
Well, okay, that works too. But I would not want to.
Oh boy, I'm gonna hear it. I bet I'm gonna get it from Stuart. He's gonna tell me about the hockey game from last night. Any of you guys watch that?
No.
Heard
No.
about it.
No, I went to bed last night.
Yeah,
Actually,
Canada beat us.
I did something
Beat
that's
us in
odd
the
for
game.
me. I actually slept last night.
Did our 51st state beat us?
I think it had a little bit to do
Yeah.
with
Oh God.
that rhetoric too.
You know why he's talking about making that the 51st state? So they can bring oh God, now I forgot the name of it. The island. They can't make one spot on the flag, they make 2. So they're gonna
It doesn't belong to Canada. It belongs to Denmark.
do what?
Greenland
It's
doesn't
green.
belong to.
No, not Greenland, not Greenland. What is it in the Caribbean?
Omaha.
No,
Stuart, you got a hangover today?
No, I was pretty good. But I was
Okay.
pretty happy.
I figured you'd been up hooting and hollering. Really, I wasn't.
You weren't.
I wasn't. Austin Matthews was a defensive wizard for that whole tournament. He missed one assignment last night at the wrong time with the wrong guy. That's the end of the game.
Yep. Oh well. Good guys came out on top.
I guess I should feel happy that our goalie came out all right. I'm not embarrassed to have Bennington come back home here.
Yeah.
You guys weren't real happy with him for a while, were you?
With which
Bennington, I heard the whole country was dissatisfied.
well, I think he just that first the one game he just didn't things just didn't work out that well for him, but he certainly did it up in the last game. So
He's just not used to having actual defense in front of him or seeing shots, or he's used to the shit bums he plays with here in St. Louis.
yeah, and some of the any of the goals sometimes at that level, and it can be pretty simple that it goes in, but it's they don't have a chance sometimes too.
Right.
So I don't know.
Have you ever looked at the speed that shot is coming at him?
I felt it.
I don't know what a puck actually weighs, but that guy was out there with that. I wondered what that dude was doing down there. He had a daggum radar gun.
Yeah.
About 100.
And he was checking the speed on that puck on some of those shots. When they get up around 98 miles an hour, buddy, I've seen baseballs come at me at 98 miles an hour. That thing's moving.
I think the top was a slap shot. Shoot, I can't remember his name. I think it was about 104 miles an hour or something.
108. 108.
Wait, is it? Okay, it's higher than
I think it was
Lord.
Chara at the All-Star
I
game.
don't think I've ever caught a ball going that fast. That's hauling.
well, you figure you think of a baseball, but these things are harder.
Yeah, it's like
Well, I
hockey
know
puck.
they're harder. And
Not
they're
quite
smaller,
6
too.
ounces.
Yeah, and they're like just hard rubber almost. That's
Yeah.
but
Grief.
Well, the
It's a
ones they
body
play,
bushing for a four-wheel drive.
the ones they play with in the NHL are frozen all the time.
yeah,
It's
That's-
not rubber, it's frozen.
yeah, it's frozen rubber.
They
They
take
keep
them out of
cold
play
so
when
they-
they start thawing out.
The reason they do that is so they don't bounce.
Yeah.
Let's keep the bounce out of the puck. But yeah,
I kept thinking these guys don't know what they're doing. They keep hitting the ice before they hit the puck. Don't they know how to swing? And then I figured out what they were doing. And boy, that makes a big difference in the shot.
Yeah, they get the flex in the stick.
Load the stick and then hit the puck and boing. Well, I'm
that's
telling you.
amazing. You know, you look at the old wooden sticks, you know, compared to what they have now and stuff.
Yeah. Well, see,
It's
that's the only
changed
thing I'd ever seen is the old wooden ones. But I'm guessing it's like playing tennis with an old 7-ply bamboo tennis racket and playing against somebody that has a carbon fiber racket. And I've done that, and she cleaned up the court with my butt.
You know what happened is China bought up all the good hockey stick wood to make windmill blades with, and so they had to switch to carbon fiber.
Oh Lord, here we go. Here we go. Oh Lord. Oh my goodness.
I remember in high school, I don't know if you were playing still in Stewart but the aluminum stick was the thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about those.
An aluminum stick, and then you'd stick the wooden blade into the end with hot melt glue.
Yep. Yeah, I never had one of those. I never played. I only played 2 years like of minor hockey. Like they called it squirts and mighty mites or something back
It
then.
was mites first and then squirts. It goes
Yeah.
mites, squirt, phantom, peewee, midget.
And I did that for a couple of years or something. Then I kind of got out of it. But then I just played like if we found a piece of ice in the corner of a cornfield, we were happy. So we did that. And then once I got out of high school, I started playing just pickup type thing, no contact. And I still do it today twice a week. So
Yeah, you told me.
it's fun.
I've been 4 months off now with this knee problem. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play anymore.
Ooh, what do you got?
You think? Well, I'm going finally. I think I have a torn meniscus.
Oh, yeah.
But
That could,
couldn't get it. My insurance said before we'll pay for an MRI, you have to try physical therapy. So that makes sense. We don't know what's hurt in there. We'll try and work it out and see if it gets better. And if it doesn't, then we'll take a picture and see what's wrong.
and the bad thing is by waiting, the problem gets worse most of the time.
Or you can
Yeah.
aggravate
You
it.
should have done this
Well,
why didn't you come when you first heard it? Because the insurance wouldn't pay.
Yeah, that's what the woman who I've been working with the physical therapy, it was pretty obvious that we weren't gonna fix it with physical therapy. So, and she's used to playing this insurance game. So she said, we'll just check these boxes off and make sure we don't aggravate it. So I've kind of just been in there going through the motions.
Yeah, I had a knee scope once, and it was good then for another 10 years, and I just went in and saw the surgeon again because I was off a month last year in hockey because of it. But he says he's gonna wait, and it's been pretty good. So
What
I
did
don't
they
know.
do when they scoped it? What did they scrape some arthritis out?
Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, they sometimes do a little bit of that, but they usually there's cartilage in there. There's a tear somewhere, and they usually take it out. Like if it's torn, they'll take the torn part out, and that's what I have now because I had an MRI done, but he's not going to do anything yet. But if it aggravates me some more in that, then I'll have it done. But it was simple. I went in
All
and
right.
did it.
We got some modelers in here now. Jim Hoffman, what do you got for us?
He wants to talk about his knee.
Not much works good for me, but I got good knees.
There you go.
You know why? It's because you're thin.
You'll be
That's
dancing
not
in the
how you-
circle.
I'm not that thin. So last time I was on, I showed you. We talked about my Arrow Tiger with the stripped threads.
Yeah.
Right?
So I did a little research. First, I had to figure out what threads those are.
540?
Not even close.
3 millimeter.
It's an M2.5.
Oh,
Okay.
That's a very small metric thread.
2.5 by 0.0045 or something weird like that is what they say.
So what I learned about this M2.5, so the 2.5, that's the major diameter. That's if you put a calipers on it, the OD, the largest OD would be 2.5 millimeters. So a more common metric thread is an M3, that's 3 millimeters. So little research, they come in a coarse and a fine. And the really good news is that the fine thread, the M2.5 fine, has the same pitch as the 3.0 fine. So I said, hot damn, hopefully I have a fine and not a coarse. But all I could do was sort of count threads and try to estimate what the pitch was. Everyone know what the pitch is of a thread?
Mhm.
And
You don't have the pitch gauge?
no, it's the distance between threads.
Now, let me ask you this. This thing's a fine thread because is that what you're saying? It's a fine thread?
Yeah,
I was hoping it's a fine thread. It's I believe it's a coarse thread.
Well, yeah, because coarse goes into aluminum and fine goes into steel. You don't never put fine threads into aluminum. It'll gall up and seed.
No, that's consistent with what I'm finding. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
what do
The
you know?
best
What
thing
the,
on
you say
the
coarse
table is what Sparky suggested a few days ago: is fill it with JB Weld and retap.
Riddle me
So-
this. What you got enough material there to just run a 3 millimeter tap in the hole and you use a 3 millimeter bolt.
Yeah, but it's a different pitch.
Well, that's why you're going to run a 3 millimeter tap in there. You're going to cut the right thread in there.
Well, maybe I have to see if there's enough stock to do that. Maybe.
It sounds like these are the same head bolts that they use on an OS 32 and an OS FP20 and an LA, LA 25 is 3 millimeter.
Here's one for you that'll you'll probably think I'm crazy, but I know it can be done because I've done it. You take your bolt and you put Vaseline on it and fill that hole full of JB Weld and stick the bolt in there. And when the JB Weld dries, back the bolt out. It won't stick to the Vaseline.
Yep, I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Jim, that time you flew my Colossus and it stripped the head mold out. And so it was leaking. Remember, we couldn't get a needle setting. I just went to the next size bigger, drilled it, and tapped it, and just went to a little bit bigger bolt. And haven't looked at it since.
All right, maybe
Jim,
would
one
be a
thing,
good solution.
if
Whatever
you
fits in the hole.
if you take and tap it, if you have to tap it to the one size bigger, and you still have to put JB Weld in, at least you give it something, something to hang to. So it won't be a total loss. I mean,
Yeah. So that's about all I've done this week. I'm getting ready to build the next big one. So gathering parts. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask the group. I need to get some Kevlar thread. You guys have any experience with Kevlar thread? No.
Yes.
But use it to bind an aluminum fitting to a wooden part.
My experience with Kevlar thread, though, is that it didn't wick CA all that well. Normally, that's what you like to do is wrap it.
I used to sew my ribs with Kevlar thread that I got from a parachute rigger and out of the Navy out of Pensacola, Florida. I ran out of that thread and I can't find that thread anymore. I bought some Chinese Kevlar thread that ain't even Kevlar thread. You can break it, just pop it really easy. You took that Kevlar thread I had, you could fly your airplane on it. You couldn't break it. It'd cut
do
your
it like that, you'll cut your fingers.
You wouldn't need much, would you, Jim?
No, I need
Like a foot or two?
5 feet.
5 feet. I know who's got some. There's Brad LaPointe on the bean field. So I'm going to get some from him. Like There's Len. He'd know. Hey,
Yeah.
Len, Jim's looking for some Kevlar thread. Needs about 5 feet.
We can get that to you.
Brad's got some too, right?
I've got it. Brad's got it. And you've got a roll sitting here that Brad sent for you, but you haven't got it yet.
There you go. See, I got some, but I didn't know I had it yet.
So, do you have any experience? I've never used it before. I was gonna. I want to bond
Okay.
I want to bond an aluminum part to a wooden part. I was gonna wrap it and coat it with epoxy.
Yeah, it'll work perfect.
Marky, can you turn the sharing on?
It'll work. And it's very thin and very lightweight. It'll be perfect.
Len, get me a roll, would you? I'll buy it.
Well, I can't get you a roll, but I can get you some. I will make up a roll of the stuff, and yeah, it's not very expensive by the looks of it.
Where's that out of?
That's Bass Pro Shops.
And it's Kevlar. Oh, it is.
Just UTC Kevlar.
That's exactly the stuff right there. It's perfect. I didn't realize it was so cheap.
I'll buy my own. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's easy to get.
It's really thin, so it won't. I want to lay the part on top of something else, and
Yeah, it's
move it
very
up a
thin.
few thousand.
I can show you the stuff. Here, I'll bring it up.
Jim, if you can't find the stuff in regular Bass Pro Shop, if the guys don't know, somebody that don't know where it is, go back to the fly shop. That's where it's used in fishing, mostly is in fly fish.
You're probably going to order it, aren't you, Jim?
That's what I do.
Do they use it for fishing line, basically, then?
No, it's for rod building and fly,
Rod
maybe
building.
fly tying.
Building flies and
Rod
stuff?
building. It's mostly rod building.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to buy it online.
Yeah, and then you won't have to worry about where it is in the store.
Hopefully, I have Amazon Prime, so it's
Yeah,
convenient.
Kevlar thread works great for big bugs, bass, spinning deer hair and stuff. And you can really tug on that stuff and it don't break. You'll cut your fingers before you cut that stuff.
I just got
Are
a
you
new-
you guys are good fishermen?
I try to be.
I love fishing, but I really suck at it.
Well, the thing is, just keep trying and enjoy it.
Just keep buying more fishing rods.
Some of the best trips I've had. I went out with. I'd go out with a bunch of guys that are vets that have had PTSD and problems. Some of the best trips I've had, we didn't catch a whole lot of fish, but we had a heck of a good time. Then I've had trips where we went like up to Cherokee and caught fish after fish after fish all day long. And you just had to go sit down on the bank and dang, my arms would be tired. You just couldn't pull in enough fish. But some of those were great trips. I mean, they're good trips and they're memorable trips. But the really memorable ones, been with some of the guys that you just had a great time.
I got a question from the peanut gallery. How much should a Super Clown weigh without a motor and tank?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I don't think I ever weighed mine without.
45 ounces.
Oh, no, a Super Clown. God, if it weighs over 20, forget it. If it weighs over about 15 ounces without motor and tank, you're probably too heavy.
Well, I had a flying clown weighed about in the mid-20s, ready to fly.
Yeah, I've got one downstairs, but it's electric. I have no idea.
What are you showing us, Len?
This stuff is so thin, I don't even know if you can see it.
Yeah, it's really small.
Good.
It's
I need
really thin
really
stuff.
small,
Oh yeah, this will be perfect for you then.
like dental floss.
I mean, I use this. It's less than dental floss.
It's
It wouldn't
much
be
less
half
than-
the thickness of dental floss.
Yeah.
Like there's
So-
the needle I'm using. It's such a small needle. Let's see if I get my hand here. There's the needle. It's just a little wee thin needle. When I pull the thread, it's really
Two
thin.
pieces.
Here's what I'm going to buy right here. It doesn't look anything. It looks like what I had for parachute rigging. I'll put a link in it here, and I'll put it in my store. This is 9 km Kevlar kite string, 70 pound, 1,000 foot.
Yeah, that stuff on Bass Pro that I showed you is significantly thinner and smaller than I think what you're you're getting, Sparky.
Yeah.
This stuff here is just thread. It's thread thickness, like very thin thread.
Mhm.
Yeah, but very strong.
It's incredibly strong. And what I've been using it for mostly is as time passes, cloth hinges give up the ghost. And when they do, instead of buggering up the whole airplane trying to put new hinges in, I just sew the thread through over and under and make new hinges out of Kevlar thread. It
Yeah.
works beautiful for that.
Good. I do that with dental floss, and it gives it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
No.
Ah,
So
Bob's got-
I've read that some of the Kevlar thread has a coating on it, and I wonder if that's going to be not compatible with epoxy. I don't know.
Well, the
This
thread that
stuff
I
works
got was
great
from
with
a
CA or
parachute rigger.
epoxy.
Jeez. Thread I got was
Sorry.
from a parachute rigger. And this stuff that I'm looking at here on Amazon, that's kite string, 70 pound, looks like the same stuff.
Where does Kevlar come from? Anybody know what Kevlar comes from?
Well, it's
Kevlar bush.
no, it's a chemical.
It's a man-made polyimide, I think.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I've never.
That's bulletproof vests. That's
Yeah, I know they use it for that.
what it is.
I didn't know where it came from or what was synthetic or was something else.
It's synthetic, but it's a plastic. But they
Okay.
weave it. The weave goes this way and then this way, and then what you see in a Kevlar vest is very light, but it's about 6 or 8 layers, and then they put something in between them, and then they do another layer of that. What's
Yeah.
in is really a padding. If it just hits you, if a bullet just hits you and you didn't have some padding to eat up some of it, it would still bust you up. Well, it still does. It'll bruise you pretty bad. But anyway,
Here we go. 2 spools for 15 bucks.
that's about what I gave for mine, I think. That $4.99 he had on there was a lot cheaper.
Lightweight, 30 pound.
So Sparky, you said you sewed your ribs with that? I don't understand what you mean.
I'll show you here. Let me get.
He went top, bottom, and then
All right.
Bob Whitney's with us tonight.
You start at the root. You go from the bottom to the top of this rib, top of this one down to the bottom, all the way out. So you cross them, and where they cross, you just put a drop of CA. It weighs nothing, and it makes the wing extremely stiff.
does. It
That's
works.
how my I-beam wing airplanes are done, the Vipers.
Yeah.
So you're going from rib to rib to rib, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Right. All in one piece. It goes all
Okay.
the way out, over the back, and then all the way back, and it's terminated at the fuselage. And it makes a truss in thread.
That's clever. Good on you.
I'm amazed how much it adds. I
Yeah.
did that to my USA 1 and I couldn't believe how much it added. Because the
Yeah, it'll
thing,
probably rip the wood if you bend it.
well, you better CA the wood good where it goes through.
Do not try to break this thread by hand. It will cut your hand off.
I guarantee
Yeah,
you.
this stuff here will cut. I tried to break this, and this stuff will cut you before you'll break it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and you won't have to pull very hard because it's so thin. It's just like a razor.
Yeah. I tried to warn you.
Mostly it's the
Spectrum.
one thing that Chuck Norris loses to.
Kevlar, yeah.
Robert, how are you feeling?
Oh, better and better, especially the last week.
Good.
Glad. Good stuff.
I had 26 pounds to get back, and I've still got another 19 to go for my before surgery weight.
Good.
Wow.
So I'm pretty weak, but getting better. Mobility's a lot better, and I can put her in my workshop a little bit now, maybe a half hour at a time, and driving and whatnot, no problem. And I had a stress test the other day, and I almost made it to Transport Canada qualification, except my knee gave out. But I've got to wait the 6 months anyway before I can shoot for my licenses. So,
Where are you in Canada?
yeah, everyone's taking really good care of me. I can't complain about that. So, life's okay.
Where are you in Canada?
In Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, Edmonton, Alabama. I don't know where that is. And we're going to. No, I forgot. Went on the head that quick. Anyway, we're coming to Canada in July, June, last of June.
Whereabouts, Phil?
I don't know yet. I'm trying to firm it all up now. We're trying to get on the we're taking an Alaskan cruise, but that's 1 week, and we're taking a week, and we're coming across Alaska and into Canada and then going back. I know we're going to Vancouver, and I've forgotten where else. We'll have to figure out where.
Yeah, if you're heading Vancouver and up BC, you're about 12 hours away from me.
Woo! Well, Canada is a big place. Oh well.
Yeah.
Sure, and get in touch. I know it's over on the western side of Canada. I know most of it's over on that side.
Yeah.
But it's
Are you driving all the way, or are you catching the ferry to Prince Rupert?
Flying and
Oh, you're flying. Yeah.
Flying in and riding ships. I got friends that are up in cars. I said, "What's the matter? Are you afraid to fly?" Yeah.
Yeah, I've been up and down that neck of the woods quite a few times over the years.
Yeah, with
It's
all
nice area. It's a beautiful country.
It is. All the air accidents has been happening lately. Everybody's afraid to fly all of a sudden. It's still the safest way to travel.
Yeah. Well, I'm itching to get back in the cockpit, so I might have to have a conditional license. I don't know. We'll see. But even if I do, I can still teach commercial and ratings and stuff. So
you'll be all right.
But I'm going to be rebuilding my business from scratch pretty well. So,
hey Bob,
that's just.
I knew you were sick. Can you tell me what the problem was? I didn't ever hear.
Oh, I ended up with open heart surgery with a triple bypass.
Oh wow.
So it was fairly serious.
Yeah, that was like a common cold.
Yeah, it kicks the crap out of you.
Yeah,
but I sure know a lot of great people and great support, and Stuart called me earlier this evening and said you guys were wondering about me, so I thought I'd take a few minutes and pop in and say, "Yep, still alive." Get better every day.
Very glad.
I start my physio rehab on Tuesday. So
you still hugging the pillow?
Pardon me, Phil?
Are you still hugging the pillow?
Oh yeah. You mean this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go far away from that, or you know it if you cough.
What's the significance of that?
Well, they cut open your chest all the way down and slice open the rib cage, and then rip it open to do the surgery. When they close it up again, it's closed up with a bunch of stainless steel wire. And until the bone starts fusing, if you cough or something, the stress put on that wire and on the ribs moves them, and just the pain can be excruciating. So what you do is you take a pillow, they just happen to have a heart one, and you just clench it as tight as you bloody wells can if you're going to cough or sneeze to keep the pain down.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Had that surgery.
Now, the big problem is I've got no strength, and I really doubt, at least at the start of the season, I'm going to be able to fly a full-size stunt plane. So I had a drawer full of 15s and 19s and whatnot, so I dug into the old stash from the 1970s and found an old Acromaster I'd started then, so I'm going to finish that off and maybe build another one and put an Enya 15s on them. And I've got a Junior Flight Streak beater kicking around with a 15 on it. So, and a whole crap load of 50-foot lines that were given to me by an old combat flyer. So I'm set for flying the little ones. It's just, I've never ever had any airplanes in that size before. I started out with 35s. But I just know I'm not going to be up to the stamina to put in more than maybe 1 or 2 flights if I try flying larger ones.
Take it easy for a while.
I even dug out a few old 049 planes to finish up.
Oh, Lord.
There's no real place to fly damn things now, though, because they won't let you use any old parking lot. And, the rough grass, the half A's, especially little scale ones like my triplane or something, you can't fly them off it or you wreck them on landing.
Yeah.
It says that half A is the national airplane in Canada nowadays, isn't it?
But
Oh, Steve, you're bad.
We fly one every day for how many days now? Len?
What are you up to?
Maybe you can't
Let's
hear
have a
me.
look here. Today was day 165 today, 165 days in a row.
The half A flight.
Good on you.
Well, we flew we've been flying half A's since the weather went
Oh.
south, you know. Before that, we go to the bean field and fly, but we can't get in there now in the winter, and it's not going to
together
happen.
with the
So,
half A's, you're just hand launching and no gear on them, Len.
yeah, Naomi launches it out in the backyard, just
Yeah.
into the next field. Yeah. So we go out every day and get one flight, no matter what it's like. It doesn't matter. We fly
Good stuff.
rain, snow, wind, anything. We get out there. Had a couple of problems this week though. The plane I've been using, the engine's been giving up the ghost a lot, so we ended up going with another airplane. So I think it was just a bad plug and lack of lubrication. I got a question for you guys. What is a good mix for half A fuel?
Yep.
Anybody know?
35%, 18 caster,
How much caster?
18%.
So 35 nitro,
Yep,
18 caster.
yep.
Wow.
And the rest
Yeah, I've
now-
got about
Wow.
1/4 of it left, and I hope it's still good.
Gordon, you're serious, buddy.
Thanks, Gordon. That's awesome. Well, you got to have lots of nitro or they're a waste of time. Like, don't even bother taking them out. They
You
don't
got
run,
any
they don't have
propane?
any power, and you can't needle them if they've got no or if they've got no nitro.
You got any
Just
propylene
crap.
oxide, you can throw that in there too, Len.
What's that?
If you got any propylene oxide, you can throw that in there too.
No, I don't have any, but yeah, you're right. That'd be good.
Something else, Len, that we used to do was heat up the piston and cylinder with a Bic lighter or something before you try and start it.
Oh, you mean out in the cold?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't hurt. What I do is I start it up in the garage first and get it warmed up, but also to get it well lubricated before we go out. And then we just walk to the back. It's already gassed up. All we do is give it a prime and go. There's no fiddling around. So it doesn't even really get a chance to get cold. So yeah.
Mm.
I bought one of those
Working
half
fine.
A little electric starters, but I've never tried it. Don't know if
I've
that'd
got
be
one of
helpful.
those.
It
I've
works.
got one, I've
They
got
work
one of
great.
those.
Works really good. I've got
It's funny
one.
though.
Works really well.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's the one right there. The one Jim's got. That's what I have. Same one.
Yeah, this is what you need for half A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one I've got.
The deal.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is though, we use basically nothing. All I use is my regular orange glow igniter, and I just hold it on top of the plug and give the little spring start a turn and a quarter and let her rip. That's it.
So bring
We don't
some
want to carry
Band-Aids.
any. Yeah, the only other thing I carry out there is a syringe with some fuel, just the starter, the plane, and the little syringe of fuel. That's it. Nothing else. I don't
So
carry
with
any
how
tools.
easy you're
No,
describing it, Len, you're not running TDs.
no TDs.
No lighter fluid.
We're just
I'll
keeping it
tell
real
you.
simple.
Years ago, Jim Womack and I'm a combat bud. I had a Johnson that had been hot tub with modified head. Well, a brand new head that was custom built in the back plate. And anyway, we decided to go out and fly it in the winter. And using a bladder, we'd prime it. And it was so cold, before I could release the tubing, the prime had already run out. And the engine quit. And we did that, I guess, for about 30 minutes. Finally, says, "We're done."
Yeah, this is the thing. I go out there like you would. A couple of days ago, it was so cold here. It's like you've got 10 minutes. If you don't get it going in 5 minutes, you're ready to go in the house. Your hands are frozen. They're numb. You can't feel anything. So it's like, well, it's over. And you can't do it with gloves on because you're piddling around with stuff that's too small. So I sort of
Exactly.
give it a few minutes. If I can't get it going in 5 minutes, we're going in the house and come back out and try again.
Yeah. In the last 48 hours, we've gone from 30 below to 5 above now during the day.
Yeah,
Heat
it's
wave.
warming up here too quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it's warm.
Yeah, we
30
got enough.
below to
30.
5 above.
Yeah,
We
we
got
didn't have
4
30 below though.
We had 4 inches of snow yesterday. So roads are pretty slushy. How about you, John? You're sitting there feeding your face.
Yeah.
Did you get any snow down there?
Well, I'm down in the banana belt. We only got about quarter of an inch, and it was gone in an hour.
For
Oh,
you.
I was here.
The isolated stunt contest has been postponed, so if you're thinking of coming, don't.
Isolated's already been postponed. Good gracious.
Yeah, and this year I'm going to be missing the couple of ice field fly-ins I normally go to with full-size planes. Those are always a lot of fun. They're different, especially if you take a student into them. It really freaks them out landing on ice.
Look at that big
Oh
old
man.
dog. Look at that big old dog.
yeah. You want to say hello?
He really looks like a poodle in the face. Pretty thing.
No, he's smart. Oh man, I think he's smarter than me.
He's almost bigger.
What's his
Is your
name?
wife not home? Because he looks like he's looking for mama.
Gordy. What's his name?
Winston.
Winston. Come on, Winston. Come on, Winston.
I thought he was looking for Bigfoot outside the window there.
Come on, Winston.
Oh,
Cute dog.
Come on.
we got an ambler alert. Child abduction. Child's life is in danger. Holly Angela Smith. 5 foot 4 inches, 100 pounds. Blue eyes. Victim is Josephine Jimenez or something. 1 year old.
Oh, brother.
5'4", 100 pounds, and 1 year old.
No, that was
not adding up there.
that was another one. The baby was only what? I forgot to look. Anyway, the baby is only.
Go outside?
What's that?
Does Winston want to go outside? Gotta go outside?
He does. Like today, we got a doggy door. He just goes out and sits on the back steps, and admires the backyard.
There's a cat.
That's the way Jack does.
Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
What a good boy.
Jim's got his dog. Here we go. Dog show.
Here's another dog.
That's awesome.
Oh, how about
So,
that?
Sparky, are you going to be doing a hangout on Monday night too?
Pretty. Come here, Jack.
What's that one, Jim? The Labradoodle, Golden
Yeah, we're gonna have a dog
golden
show.
doodle.
What the heck?
Both now, Bob.
On Monday, hangout also?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to shut her down. I'm kind of begged. So I'll try and catch you then.
Good seeing you, Bob.
Great to
Take it
see
easy,
you.
Bob.
Good to see you,
Glad you're
Bob. Take
feeling
care of
better.
yourself. Glad to see you doing
Good
well.
stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I
You
know.
take care.
Whoa.
Not up to where we were. That's good.
Mike, I got something I got to show you.
Okay, yeah, I heard you might. Yeah, go get it. I want to see it. And
All right,
Jim
hang on.
Hoffman, can you show your Hefe starter again? Okay, cool. I was watching on YouTube. I just put a 4S 4200 on mine because it's a little bit smaller than that, a little more compact, a little bit lighter than the dry cell you got there.
Well, yeah, very
That's-
cool.
That's an old Astrolight, you know. That's a Hornet, right? That's the Hornet, and they still sell that, I think.
The battery,
Yeah.
No, the actual starter.
the starter is a Hornet,
Oh,
and
Hornet.
I don't know. It's old.
I think you can still get them. I think they're actually still in production. But I look for, you can't see the label, but this is the original old Astrolight. I think it was made by Ace back in the day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I come across
That's
these
right.
at RC swap meets for like $5. And whenever I see one, I buy one.
Yep.
Because it's just a little bit smaller than the Hornet, and with a 4S battery, it'll spin up any even a high performance FA motor. So
Yeah. What I did find is I used it on my little prop rod with a plastic spinner, like a sort of a rubber spinner.
oh yeah, the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It beat the shit out of the spinner. So I
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah. But it's a good starter. It works great.
Yeah, with the plastic spinners on the Cox stuff, the starters just eat them up. If you go to Cox International, the Canuck guys, they make a nice aluminum spinner that you can put on there, and then you won't. Of course, it changes the look of the model, but it won't
No
gall it
pain to
up.
fix that.
It's called Cox International.
Cox International, yeah, they're up in Canada, so they sell aluminum spinners for everything from the 010 up to the 15.
Oh,
Conquest, yeah.
You're in BC.
Yeah, they're good people to work with. I bought a lot of Cox rebuild kits and stuff from them.
I never thought I would touch a Cox engine again until I decided I want to play with these Tether cars.
Prop rod. How long of lines are you running on it? And where do you run it? At your house or at the circle?
I haven't run it yet, but I'm thinking 42 foot, but I don't know.
That's awful long. I would suggest for any 049 Tether car, like 20 feet is plenty long enough.
Really?
Yeah. I've had a lot of the gurney racers and the Sprite cars and the old tester stuff. I mean, we even shortlined them at 15 feet to run them in the backyard on our driveway.
Okay.
42.
How heavy a weight did you need? I don't want to drive a spike into the place I'm going to be.
You don't need to. All you need, there's a couple of different ways to do it, but just like a 6x6 board, just a 6x6, 2 inches high, and put your spike in that. It won't drag that off. And you can just set it down. You don't have to pin it to the ground. It's not going to drag that off.
Really?
The problem you'd have with a 42-foot line is the line is going to catch on the pavement.
Okay.
At that distance, I mean, you need a pretty high pole if you were going to run 42 feet. So you with just a 6 or 8 inch spike in your weight, you can run 20, 25 feet. But, the longer your line is, the slower your car's going to seem. So, like, 20 feet is what we always ran on. Because at 20 feet, then it kind of, it's just better.
Okay. Good to know. I've not talked to anyone with experience. That's great, Mike. Thank you.
The Shrike's a lot of fun, man. I had a bunch of those when I was a kid. They even made an RC version of the Shrike.
Well, I suggested this last year at a bar after the contest at Golden State, and everybody was excited. So I said, okay, I'm going to see if we can make this happen. We have a beautiful site to do it at. So I bought a car. Now I got to get the motor running and also got to develop the equipment to run it. So that's what I'm doing.
Have you checked out YouTube videos of Shrike cars? Because they're out there. They're on there.
That's where I got the 42 foot. I saw a guy, he had a beautifully clean parking lot he was using, and he was on 42 foot. It looked nice.
It just seems slow the longer the lines are, And like I said, they made an RC version of that Shrike, and it was terrible because there's no brakes and no throttle. So you can't stop it.
So you just have steering?
You just have steering, right? But that's the thing is,
what could go wrong?
If you're not going the right way or there's an obstacle, you can't slow down, you can't stop it. It's just they made the Interceptor as well. I had that one, same thing, 049, but no brakes. Couldn't stop it. You just had to make sure you were always in an area you could run it till it ran out of gas. So
Go on
What you
eBay
got,
and
Lynn?
see what your stuff is worth.
Oh, I don't have it anymore. That's long gone. Long gone. What you got, Len?
I took Sam's old Skybot wing, which has been down in my cupboard since we brought it home, or soon after it crashed when we got it home. And I've made an airplane out of it. There's the old wing. You can see it.
The
Still got
Stunt bot.
What's that?
Streak 3000.
Stunt
Was
bot,
that the
wasn't it?
Stunt bot or the Streak
Yeah,
3000?
No,
The
Stunt
Navy
bot.
one.
The
The
silver
Stunt
and
bot.
the silver and black one.
That was the
You can still see where the American logos were on the
yeah,
wing.
it was Streak 2000.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually a Streak 2000. That was one of Phil's kits.
Oh, was
Streak
it? Okay.
2000. Yeah, his stunt plane.
Okay, yeah, it was a
Phil's
stunt
version
plane.
of a solid foam wing stunt plane.
There's the tails from it.
Would you make a
Remember you had
P40 out of
cloth
it?
hinges on it? It's got regular hinges now.
It's like an ME 109.
Yeah, added the piece to the back and turned it into a Messerschmitt.
Yeah,
Oh, it's an
ME
ME 109. Very nice. Wow.
Turned into an ME 109. So I'm excited about finishing it up and giving it a go. Should be all right.
Well, it
It
started
was
out
either
with
that or I was going to toss it, and I didn't want to destroy the wing, and nobody wanted it. I tried to sell it at swap meets and everything. Nobody wanted a good wing. So I thought,
Yeah.
forget it. I'll build something out of it.
Yeah, it's considerably shorter than it was.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
because
right?
it
You
broke.
just made some
Yeah, 'cause it
tips
was,
for it.
yeah, because it was broken in the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just made new Messerschmitt tips for it, and yeah.
What size motor is going to go on it?
PA 75.
LA40. LA40.
LA40. Okay. Yeah,
It should
very
be all
nice.
right.
Glenn. Good to see you repurposing old stuff, man.
Yeah, you got to use the stuff. I didn't want to throw it out. There was nothing wrong with the wing and nothing wrong with the tails.
Yeah.
But nobody wanted it, so I'll use it.
Sam flew that airplane at the Nats in junior one year.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember. I don't know if he finished with that airplane or he crashed that airplane at the Nats. I don't. It was
That airplane's had a few dumps.
It did.
He crashed
It
it,
did.
then I took it home and fixed it, and then I crashed it. Just keep cutting
Very
it out
good.
in the center section. Just keep, clean out the center section, glue it together again.
Yeah, they're good cores. They're good
Yeah,
cores.
I just put a brand new spar. I just put a big, deep, full thickness spar right to the bottom, about, I don't know, 8 or 10 inches out each side. Perfect.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
And who was asking about half A fuel when I was watching?
I was.
For Cox engines or what?
Yeah, Cox engines.
Oh, okay. You don't want my formula then, because
No.
we're running like 37% nitro in our half A combat stuff.
How much oil, though, is my question. My main question is how much oil. Somebody here said 18%.
I heard Gordy say
said 18%.
18 is good. 18 caster. That was the original Cox
Okay,
brew.
that's
man.
what Gordy
It was
said.
18
So
caster.
we'll go with that then. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for any Cox motor, I think that's a fine brew. We're running like 75% Sith, 25% caster, but 30%, 37% nitro in the high performance, the Forras and the Profies and
the
that kind of
Profies.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you run in
It's
that
just that
half
I've
A
never
you had
mixed
at
fuel
Brodak
for
last
half
year?
A ever, and I haven't mixed fuel for half A ever, so I didn't know what to put in it. Now I know.
Gordy's right. Gordy 35 with 18% caster. You can't go wrong.
That's what I'll go with.
They'll run on 25 and even 20 or 15, but
Yeah, but I like the little extra power.
the more nitro you throw at them, the better they needle, and they'll hold a needle.
Exactly. Yeah, once you get down around 10 or 15%, you can't get a needle setting at all on them. They're just garbage.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Okay. Good stuff.
You can't get a needle at 15%.
It won't
Worth a
hold. I
damn.
mean, it'll run, but it's hard,
They'll
man.
run, but they're not great.
No, minimum 25. Minimum
Yeah.
25. But if you
Why
really
stop
want them
at
to swing,
35?
Okay.
if you want
Yeah,
them to swing, you got to go at 35.
Yeah,
Where'd
that's
you run
one.
in that thing? What did you run in
My
that half
minimum
pay you had at Brodak last year that turned about half a second laps? The stunner.
37%.
Wow.
That was a
I don't know what
cyclone.
man, that thing turned so fast. I said, yeah, better him than me.
It wasn't half-second laps. I had it down to like 3-second laps on 56-foot lines.
When I saw it going, I said, yeah, better him than me. I can't think that fast.
What were you going to say, Gordy?
What's that?
You were going to say something about.
Oh, I was going to say that 35% is my standard fuel for a half A, and for my combat planes, jump it up to 40.
Ooh, damn.
Gordon, you were
Okay.
recommending caster.
Yep.
How about synthetic? You ever play with that?
Well, I do on my bigger motors. I run half and half.
Yep.
But on the half A's, you know, you're only running 18%. So I just run straight caster on them. You can try it. You know,
I don't have any experience, but synthetic is awfully good oil. So.
Yeah, I run that in my stunt chips. I run half and half.
If you're running an original Cox motor, Jim, that was all caster. They weren't using synthetic back then. So you're
synthetic
good
didn't exist.
Well, no, I'm not saying it didn't exist, but that wasn't the Cox blend. Cox
that's not what they were
fuel
using. Yeah, exactly.
was all caster. It was all caster. Made for those motors of that period. And I'm not sure of the metallurgy of what kind of piston is even in a Cox engine. I don't know off the top of my head. What I'm talking about, and probably Gordy too, you know, some of the modern half A motors, they have AAC piston aligners in them. So you want some synth in there, you know. That's why we do the split, either 50-50 or 75-25. But old Cox motors, all casters is the way to go, man, because that was the original blend.
The reason why I asked is because the Cox engine I've been running in my airplane has a tendency sometimes to bog down, kind of grind down. And I'm wondering if it's got the wrong oil combination in it. So I'm just going to mix up some fresh fuel. Like it'll go and it'll start and it'll run and then you lean it out and it's okay. And then all of a sudden it just
Well, you're probably sending it up too skinny. You need to send it up a little fat, just a little fat, man. It's got to be a little fat on the ground. Because if that was a mistake a lot of people made was with the Cox motors, you get them just honking in your hand and then you send them up and they lean out and get hot. So you want that little crackle. You want a little crackle on those. What are we laughing about?
We're laughing at
Look at
this
the
picture.
screen.
Somebody's got it set up here that we're all at a boardroom table here or something.
A border. Well, I see a white back. I don't see.
Where's helmet?
Everybody's sitting in chairs in a row now here on the screen.
Oh, I don't see that part. But
No,
Lenny,
you're
just
not in.
send it up a little fatter. Send it up a little fatter.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
getting too
Happiness. That's
We'll
pretty
do
cool.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, that was really good. Lord.
Mike, years ago they had a combat speed contest that had to be an airplane designed before 1970 and older. And I won it at 132 miles an hour.
Wow.
What plane was it?
It was my Challenger. And we was running a TWA with 60% nitro in it.
60%? How many runs did you get before you had to rebuild it and put a new piston and liner in it, man? Holy cow.
It had a ABC piston liner in it.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, it was rear exhaust. The weight part on that motor, it was an awesome motor, but the weight part was the crankshaft.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, even a Fox 35 will run on 60% once.
That's right. That's yeah, right, Mike. Once.
A friend of mine at a Fox 35, and he's in his dad's shop, and he thought, I wonder what happened if I put oxygen and acetylene to it. So he fired it up, then lit the torch up and set the torch right, then stuck it on the vent to kill the flame. Then he took that and just stuck the nozzle over the venturi. And he says that thing screamed like you can't believe. And when it quit, he looked inside there. The piston was like a piece of chrome and no compression.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to mute out here for a minute. We are, Sammy's putting together F2D airplanes. We're getting ready for season. I got motors. I'm replacing bearings in. Two Forest, doing front and rear bearings on. Everything's all cleaned up. I'm getting ready to put the new bearings in and put these things back together. Sammy's over here going through the pile of stuff and hanging motors so we can get ready for Joe Knoll in May. We're flying F2D at Joe Knoll. And of course, we got the Nats, and this is a team trials year. Sammy's going to make another run trying to make the team in F2D as a junior. So we're going to turn the music up and mute this off, but we'll be here. If anybody...
Okay, good to hear from you, Mike.
Okay, guys.
Yep, nice to see you, Mike.
Yeah, we're sticking around. We're just going to play a little music and kind of do our own thing. So, but we're here.
Okay.
Take care, Mike.
All right.
Hey, Gordy.
The president's here.
Yes, John.
Tell them about how you discovered how good a fuel your combat fuel made for a Super Tiger 46.
Well, it wasn't made for that. What John's talking about is I was down at Gar High School in California with Bart and Whiteley and Lucky, and I had an airplane weighed it was 715 squares and it weighed 56 or 7 ounces with a Tiger 46, and I run 10% in it. Well, I had my combat plan there, so I had 40. And time Whiteley and Bart got through wearing my airplane out, we'd run out of fuel for the Super Tiger. So I thought, well, I'll go get some of my 40%. I thought Bart was going to have a heart attack. We put that 40% in there, and that Tiger 46, boy, did it rumble. Steady cycle through the whole pattern.
Oh, man.
Lots of power, though.
So when I got home, after that, I went to 20% and never went anything lower than that stunt airplane.
Yep.
Wow.
But tell them the truth, you give up a lot of fuel economy when you do that too.
Oh yeah, you do. Yep, that's true.
Yeah, the higher you go on the nitro, the less. Yeah, I was getting into that trouble last summer when I was getting ready for the Worlds.
Yep.
When I ran 5% nitro, I was fine with the tank I had in the airplane. As soon as I went to 7.5, it's all over after the overheads. It just, we're done. Like she's on fumes at that point.
So
Especially
Lam,
with
I need to ask you a question from 5 to 7.5. Why didn't you just go from 5 to 10? Why mess around with 2.5% is what I'm asking.
On which?
Well, on your stunt ship, you said you run 5%.
Yeah, I was running 5% and it was fine. But as soon as I went to 7.5, like I added a little more nitro and it wouldn't do it. It would run short. I didn't have enough. I didn't need to go to 10. It wouldn't even make it at 7.5%. Like we were mixing our own fuel here. So I can mix whatever I want basically. Yeah. But at 7.5%, it wouldn't make it through the pattern. It was on fumes after the overheads. So we just went right back to the 5%, and I used the 5% right through the Nats, the world champs, the whole bit. I never changed.
Put a longer fuel line on it. A foot long fuel line.
Yeah.
That's what I did when I flew my when I flew my Tucker Special. I didn't have enough I went from 5 to 10 and I didn't have enough to make the pattern. I just put a foot long piece of fuel line in it.
Yeah, if you're close, you can do that. That's true. If you're really close, you can do that. But
Put
I
a,
wasn't
put a
that
table,
close. I mean,
put a tablespoon or two of white gas in it, in a gallon.
Yeah, but also catch your power down, John.
There's more BTUs in that gasoline than there is in that alcohol.
Well, I know for a fact that if you put that in there, the power is going to go down on the engine.
Yeah.
You know, we've tried it years and years ago.
Well, I'm sure you're right. I know in my case, running the Stalkers at 0% nitro, my problem was I'd run up here just fine on a 4-ounce tank. I'd go anywhere else and I'd run out of fuel, and I couldn't drop down in nitro to get it back.
yeah,
but
there's
with
no
the
way of
Stalker, you
dropping
didn't have any
down.
power
You're
to
right.
lose, so it didn't make any difference.
Say what?
With a stalker, you didn't have any power, so you didn't have any
Oh,
power to lose.
I beg to differ with you on that, Sparky.
Oh man, they were as bad as double stars.
Oh, this
Hey,
got more
talking
power.
about double stars.
So, something we used to do, we have very large temperature swings in Arizona, and some airplanes, you'd go out there, you'd bring 2 jugs of fuel. One was say 5%, the other was 25% nitro. And as it got hotter during the day, you just, by using the syringe, how much you essentially would mix the fuel in the syringe, and you could slowly up the nitro as the temperature went up, which was pretty effective for some engines.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
good idea. That's awesome. And then when you're happy, you just leave it there until you're not happy.
Well, you know it's getting hotter, so
exactly.
you knew you needed more nitro, and it was very effective.
For sure.
But you have to be careful because you would get less fuel economy.
Yes, you got to watch. Otherwise, you're going to run out of fuel before you, like, partway through the clover leaf or whatever, and it's going to be ugly. Yeah.
Or it melts the nose off.
Jim, would you launch at the same RPM as you're adding the
Sparky.
nitro?
Yes. It was just like, I think Gordon mentioned it. The more nitro, it just stays in a deeper 4-stroke longer.
Yeah.
It's like they
very
say,
nice.
though, it's harder on your finish, too.
You know,
but nitro is like crack. You get addicted to it.
I try to go
This
with
is
as little
true.
nitro as I can get away with on all my airplanes. Like I'll go up as high as 10, but I don't want to go any higher on stunt models.
Oh my God.
But I don't like to. I'd rather run 5 because it's easier on finishes.
That's true. Absolutely true.
I don't understand, because what comes out of the exhaust is oil, not nitro.
Yeah, but getting it in the airplane.
That's right. When you're putting it in the airplane, you got to be careful not to spill even a drop on the cowl or something, or it's there for life.
Well, all right.
Unless you've got some real bulletproof paint.
I use car paint on the clear coats.
Yeah, see, I'm using dope, and so is Sparky. We're using dope, so therefore, it's not very immune to high nitro at all.
No,
but I always run only in that Aero Tiger likes 5%, but otherwise I'm at 10 or 15% minimum nitro on glow engines.
Well, I'll tell you, Box 35 sure like 15% nitro. They love the stuff.
What would they do in Tucson?
Well, they love it here too.
I didn't want to run at Tucson.
I heard you talking earlier about your Aero Tiger and your strip thread, and you were trying to figure out what it was. Did you happen to get one of these at Vegas, the thread pitch from Micro Fasteners? We passed these out in Vegas a few years ago.
They're really good.
No, I don't have one of those, Mike.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you didn't end up with one. They were kind of freebies at the Vegas contest. Well, maybe not Vegas. Maybe this was It was Huntersville. I'm sorry. Sam's right. It was Huntersville. So they somebody got a whole bunch of these from Micro Fasteners, and there's standard and metric. And I'll tell you what, this thing has been my saving grace, especially dealing with the Russian and Ukrainian engines, and everything's in millimeters. So you
Right.
got a bolt and a nut and all the different sizes. And Micro Fasteners actually sells these. My local hobby shop, crazy enough, has a 2-pack of these on the wall. Like, you can buy them.
Does it
But
recognize a M2.5?
yes, yeah, there's a 2.5 and a 2.6 in there.
Does it recognize an M2.5 coarse and fine?
I've never heard of that, Mike or Jim. That American bolts.
When
come
you
in
get
so
that,
close
when
and
you get that
fine.
small, they're all fine threads. There's no coarse threads when you get below like 3 millimeter.
Well, the charts, I Googled charts this morning, and in the 2.5 size, there is a coarse versus a fine, and it's a different pitch.
Okay.
So, and yeah, even the coarse looks mighty fine.
Yeah, because
it's called a coarse.
It being that small. But regardless, I would check out Micro Fasteners, and just everybody should have one of these.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's also standard SAE threads as well, and it's all in our sizes too. It's like all the stuff we use in modeling, right?
Yeah,
So
that's handy, dude.
You get a little nut to, you can run one in and run one. You take one out, you can run it in, run it out. And then if you're trying to find a nut, you got all the threads on a socket head cap screw to see. Because Home Depot and Lowe's, even though they've got thread check stuff, it doesn't go below, I think, 4 millimeter, or maybe even 5 millimeters.
Something like that.
Mike,
My Ace went down to 2 millimeter.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's
that was
nice.
really nice.
Mike,
if you go to a trade show, you can look for National Balsa, and they're kind of together now, and you can find it there if you can't find it at Micro.
At Micro, yeah. I'm going to Perry, Georgia next Friday. The Southeastern Modelers swap meet. So it's like the Toledo of the South, or the I don't know what your big one is up there in the Northeast, Mark. But Perry, Georgia, it's 1,000 tables, 3 buildings, 1,000 tables, and all the vendors are there. And Bob Smith Adhesives is there, man. You can get epoxy and CA for like dirt cheap show prices. So, but yeah, you're right, Mark.
Yep, someone's showing on the screen what I found. The 0.45 pitch in the 2.5 millimeter size is considered coarse.
Okay, well I would be willing to bet dollars to donuts that's for sure what yours are. The point this is really all you can buy anymore is a M2.5 by 0.45 pitch.
Right. There's such a thing called a fine. It's called 0.35 pitch.
That one is probably the hen's tooth.
Yeah, and what's nice is the M3 and the M2.5 and the fine are the same pitch. So
M3 bolts that are in the slightly larger engines, like a 46 LA or something like that, I believe those are 0.50 pitch. Let's go see what it says.
Just be thankful it's not Wetworth.
Mike, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just wondered, is there a number on that gauge you got from the company?
It's just actually 1-800-892-6917.
Part number. Their part number on it.
Yeah, part number is what I'm thinking.
No, microfasteners.com. That's it.
Okay.
With their telephone number.
I'm gonna see if I can get them, and I'm gonna see if I can get one. Len, do you want one or no?
Sure.
Well, they're sold in pairs too. You get both.
There you go.
And it goes from 1.6 to 6 millimeter on the metric. And then
256 to quarter 28.
the other one goes from quarter 20 all the way down to 0.80.
It's awesome.
Oh, okay, there's two different different gauges then.
Yeah, one is SA
Yeah.
and the other's
Yeah, one's
millimeter.
SAE, the other one's millimeter metric.
One is the real gauge, the other one's the Chinese model.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Hey,
this thing's
Mike.
been a lifesaver,
No,
man.
it's the
I
Canadian
use
model. It's the Canadian model. We have metric here.
I use this all the time, especially a lot of the RC stuff that Sam and I fly too. It's weird. Some of it, even though it all comes from China, sometimes it has SAE bolts and nuts in it. Sometimes it's metric.
Yeah.
And when we're doing
noticed that
control
too.
horns and push rods and repairing stuff, I run them down or I screw them in and figure out which one it is before you try to send
Or
one.
you stick it in, exactly.
Hey, Len,
It's a great
Len, I-
tool. Yes, Mark.
I understand that the Canadian version has no nut. Is that true?
Oh, damn, Mark.
Oh, my Lord.
Damn, Mark.
Oh,
Oh, man.
Mark.
I'm just checking.
Ooh.
I'm not going
Yeah,
there.
rough.
I'm just not going there. I got something for
It's my
that, but I'm not
responsibility.
doing it.
Maybe wait till
Mark,
YouTube.
Mark, it's just the Canadian hockey team that has no nuts.
Hey, the man flies every day. He's got more guts than a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean that.
I think you might have had the jersey colors confused last night, Mike.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Canada won.
All in good fun.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mark, I think you missed your calling.
What's that?
Being a comedian.
Oh, well, some people say I'm doing a pretty good job with Pampa.
Yeah, you are. Mark, you're doing an
as a
amazing
comedian.
job.
As a
Well,
comedian.
you are doing a good job.
Well, I appreciate that. Actually, last Thursday was kind of pivotal day for my future. Well, for my future, because my doctor and I were concerned my prostate cancer came back. And with God's help, the CAT scan came back negative, which was just awesome. So those who are hoping that I get out of Pampa quicker, I don't know.
They're out of luck.
Yeah. Either
We're
that
gonna
or
keep you for a good long
they're
while.
stupid enough to take the job. I don't know which one it is.
Man.
Well, that is outstanding.
Mentioned this last time, but I just want to repeat it. Today, Chris Rudd sent out an email to everybody. Well, every Pampa member.
I didn't get it.
Okay, I just got mine tonight.
I didn't get mine.
Yeah, I just got mine tonight. And basically what it says is something I think I've mentioned maybe Monday. I formed a search committee last year, asked John Paris and Michelle and Todd Lee and myself and Bob Hunt to see if we could find good candidates for 25 to run the Nats without begging people at the last minute who really don't want to do it. So I'm just really pleased. John Hill will be the event director, and Frank Williams will be the assistant director, and an ailing but wonderful chief judge will be Mark Overmeyer again, who's just been fighting some cancer. So now prayers to all the guys, and I'm real tickled. We got a big step up on this, so I encourage all of you to come to the Nats. I think we'll have another great. So that's all good news.
Mark, is it true that Pampa is going to be mailing stimulus checks to all the members?
I'm sorry?
I said, is it true that Pampa is going to be mailing a stimulus check to all members?
Yes, absolutely. I got a great deal on small pills of Viagra, and I think that would be a stimulus.
Yeah, I got a $200 check from our.
He can do crowd work too. Look at that.
No,
that's
one of the battles that we have, Gordon, is trying to keep membership dues, as tight as we can. And the newsletter has, which I think is doing a great job, is getting bigger and bigger. I don't think it's going to get back to what Stunt News used to be because we can't afford it. We can't afford the printing. But every once in a while, if you guys could reach out or just say thanks to the guys who are putting that Stunt News together, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. David and the guys do a great job on that. So, I think, Gordon, I think Pampa's kind of like, I think if everything's going well, you don't hear anything, and I guess maybe that's okay. And if there are some rough edges, we're made aware of them and try to act on them. Personally, I'd rather have people say exactly what's on their mind so I know where to go with it, rather than someone saying, oh, everything's okay when it really isn't. But hey, I'm still thrilled. I can't believe at times that we have a new surface on the L-pad. And I'm a little disappointed that we lost our executive director at AMA for a different career for him, but I'm waiting to see who his replacement is before I start politicking, because what I'm trying to do with the other SIGs is establish an AMA driven control line effort or for people who just want to try control line. I don't care if it's combat, speed, carrier, who cares? To try to get to a grassroots effort, it's something that really doesn't fall under Pampa. I think it waters us down a little too much. But we just got to come up with a way of putting handles in someone's hand and let them experience the joy. So anyone who has ideas on that, I mean, we've been doing that at Triple Tree for years. The guys have been doing it for years at Oshkosh and other places. And you get a ton of people that enjoy it, but they don't make the jump. And one of the reasons is they go home and there's no one there to talk to. So I don't want to take a lot of time, but I want to run this off you. I had a thought, and I just want to see what you guys think. I've had this thought for 3 years, but I haven't done anything about it because I need to bounce it off some people. I'd like to be able to build the equivalent of a map of the US and with the equivalent of stick pins wherever there's a Pampa member, provided that Pampa member is willing to take a phone call or willing to, take a text or an email and help someone who's reasonably near you. It's very hard to do, but we have almost 300 ambassadors for Control Line Stunt out there, plus other guys who aren't members who, are into Control Line Stunt. So do you think that'd be asking a lot from a member? I mean, it could be on a voluntary basis. If you don't want to do it, we won't put your name on the map. But it's another way for me to say, okay, we have 200 points of interest out there, not 200 hobby shops, but we got 200 guys that know what the hell they're doing. And they're not going to buy an airplane and they're not going to spend 100 hours with you. But you got a better shot of getting up in the air successful if you touch one of these guys. So is that half baked? Is it possible? Any thoughts about it?
Well, Mark, on Stunt Hangar, there's that feature already, and the people, I have no clue how many have filled it out. There are some that have stuck their pin in their profile, but I would say that it's less than 50% out of 4,000. There's probably 1,000 maybe.
Yeah, I believe that. And I'd probably be okay with that.
Something's better than nothing.
We're not asking you to spend any money. We're just saying, can you help us keep the hobby alive? That's basically what this is.
Well, let's check and see if Mark Weiss filled his profile out.
Mark, we've your buddy live in Charlotte. He don't live in Charlotte, lives in Gastonia, but anyway, been helping me put together a kit to build a little electric trainer.
Yeah.
And we're going to take that with us to the field and just do like you guys do. Just if somebody comes up and they do it a lot during the summer, at Hobby Park, they'll come up. I've never seen this before. I didn't know you still did this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have something, we can set something up and let them fly, let them try it. And
How do you spell your
got
last
the little
name, Mark?
transmitter down here like y'all do with the throttle. And we're going to just build a little, everybody thought I was crazy going out and quote, stealing the vote for me signs after the election. But anyway, I got picked up a bunch of signs and we're going to build some airplanes and that's what we're planning to do. Just have something in case somebody asks. Come on, I'll put you on the hand and let you try this sometime.
Yeah. You know, it's there are a lot of people who've said to me for 3 years now, why the hell do you care? Why don't you just do what you got to do, run the Nats this year and get it organized next year? And I just don't look at it that way because I'd like to thank the people who've been before us that we have a Nats now. That we have 51 years of Pampa, that we have all these things. Someone did that, you know, and we know the names. And I don't want to be the one that people look at and say, well, shit, he didn't care. You know, the whole thing's gone to hell. The problem
I
is,
don't want to be the one. I don't want to be the last one holding the candle when the lights go out. You know.
yeah, and so you know, I don't think any of us want that. It's just okay. How do you do it? And you know, we're not looking for 100,000 people. You know, we're really not. I mean, if we could double, if everyone found one person, sounds simple. It's not as simple as it sounds. You know, we can keep this thing going a long time. So, look, I don't want to make. I have a tendency of trying to make this a briefing. It's not that. It's just that I'm in front of 12 guys that understand this. You know, and I can talk to a lot of people that don't get it.
Okay, let's see here.
We got some good things going. We've got a lot of good committees going. But if you don't have an inflow from somewhere, you know, that tub is going to run dry. So I'm anxious to get back with AMA and see if they agree with me that's really their responsibility. It's not Pampa's. It's the responsibility of AMA to bring modelers, you know, front and center.
Well, according to the map, you're somewhere in the United States or in the world. I mean, I showed the whole world. So you didn't put your zip code down. Like I say, it's already been on Stunt Hangar. I mean, it's going to be hard to get people to do it. But.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'll tell you that it's a funny story, but it's true. I had a meeting with the district directors probably maybe it's August. Okay, so I have the same screen that you're looking at, and I got 11 district directors on there, plus a few others, Bob McDonald and Chris Rudd and David, and we started going through the new committees that we wanted to form, and when I said, okay, I need a volunteer to run whatever committee it was. And I want to tell you that 2 of the guys turned the lights off where they were watching the broadcast, so I wouldn't know who they were. And I just really. So, you know, they have other things to do in their life, and not everyone volunteers. It's just the nature of the deal. But please reach out to me with any idea that we can turn, that doesn't require a lot of money. And to me, that's the key. What do you do after you get someone interested? How do you know, what do you do from there? And how do you get people interested? And I got a few ideas, and you know, I'm kicking them around. But you guys are smarter than I am, and you have a lot of experience. So it's easy to say not worry about it, but I do, and I think everyone does. So
I'll worry about it.
Mark, I have a question. If can we think of a way that rather than have the Pampa members make their contact info available to who knows, to somehow accept I don't know, I know it's not a trouble ticket, but that's just what comes to mind to me is someone fills out a trouble ticket and here it is, this needs to be serviced and who can we funnel this to? and then ultimately would be the member who reaches out to the person wanting help.
Well, you know, that might be a good idea. I mean, if, and I'm not knocking Gordon, but if I knew someone had a glow engine issue, he'd be one of the guys I'd think of. But unless people know, what if he gets calls from 5 people that only run electrics? That's probably not his strength. So maybe that's a way to go, is find out where the talent is.
Like, for example, is there a way to put together an email list for each district? And
Yeah, we have that.
so you get a call that somebody in District 6 is looking for blah blah blah. Send the email out to the District 6 list. And it's not like we're going to be getting 10 emails a day that, hey, there's a new
No.
guy in your district looking for help.
No. No, you know, that's possible, Steve, and I'm going to write that down. My issue with the districts is it's very possible for someone in a district to contact someone from another district who's much closer. It's just where the boundaries are.
Right.
You know, that was why I was thinking about the stick pins or something like that.
I
But
guess
thank you. I'm gonna run with that, and I want to turn this back to you guys and talk about better things. But I'm a sponge, you know. There's a lot I don't know. Sometimes people remind me, but that's okay. Just want to fix the problem. So thank you, guys.
You know, Mark, one thing to think about, your idea of the stick pins is actually a pretty good idea. Now, if you put that into a computer program where you could sort,
Yes.
Sort it quite quickly and easily, you know, so somebody needed help, they could contact this person, he'd do the sort and say, here's 3 people that live within 50 miles of you, you know, get in touch with them.
John, I think the last time I was involved with stick pins and maps was in Southeast Asia, and that's a few years ago. You know, the stakes were a little bit higher, but you know, we did.
Yeah, but you got to remember one thing, Mark. This isn't your problem. This is all of us' problem. Because if we don't do something about this, this is going to die in our lifetime. And
yeah,
some of us are old enough. That ain't that long.
I think so. I've gone into hobby shops and guys behind the counter had no concept of control line.
No.
Because they didn't grow up with it. They don't sell it. They're not seeing it in any magazines. You know, every once in a while there's something in model aviation. But, you know, it's, I think when people think of AMA, they're thinking of RC and they're thinking of drones.
I think the best thing that I've seen so far with this group is what Graham's doing. You know, he's got students, he's got what, 5 or 6, 7 of them, I don't know. And he's teaching them. I can't think of a better way to do that. It's actually through the schools. It's like, if it's introduced, you're going to get a few people here and there, and he got, like, I was surprised, actually. I think he had like 6 or 7 kids that he's actually training.
Yeah.
I hear you, Stuart.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I hear you.
That's a good point, Stuart. A couple of things that kind of jolted me when you said that. One was, I think if you can do a pilot program, you know, and orchestrate it properly and do it right, then you get a foothold and you have a model you can spread throughout the country. To me, the easiest way right now is to try to get people to come to your contests or your fly-ins. You know, find a way to get those people to show up, have a little electric or an 049 plane they can fly, and some kind of packet, whether it's a pamphlet sheet, whatever you got, and say, look, here's, I don't care if you give them my name. I really don't, you know. But since we're already doing contests, I've been all over AMA on that issue. I said, you got the national championships here. And I got to tell you, control line stunt is probably not the most fun to watch. You probably have more fun watching combat, carrier, you know, racing. But if you're into beauty, if you're into form and shape, you know, it's hard to beat what I do. So yeah, just shoot me an email and
Hey, Mark, is there any way you can get with the AMA and tell them that they need to promote that, you know, like the Worlds was there, nobody in town knew about it. The Nationals was there, nobody in town knows about it. They should have somebody out there, a local reporter or something, you know, or
Barky,
point.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you could go a half mile from there. You could go to the 12th Street Diner.
that's right, they don't know about it.
And where is that field again? Where do you guys fly? Yeah.
That's exactly what they said.
What about trying to make this an Olympic sport? I mean, that's shooting way out. But the idea is, if you get it to where there's notable competition, and that would be, you know, available to everyone, like the Olympics. I mean, there are dumber things.
That's the world.
There are dumber things that are Olympic sports than would be control on aerobatics.
Like curling, that'd be like watching paint dry.
Come on now. You ever curled? You ever stepped on that ice before?
No thanks.
It's a tough thing to do.
John, I'll tell you something. Someone who mentioned that to me maybe 2 years ago was our host here, you know. And he thought about that too. And I said, you know, to get in front of that many people would just be absolutely awesome. But it has to have a certain amount of spectator appeal.
Well, that's where you have to have somebody on the handling the communication or talking about, because you got to educate the viewer, because they at the beginning they don't know what the heck we're doing. It's like watching paint dry, like you said. I found that I went to a contest in California. I had those little trifold things that Peppa put out, and I had about maybe 20 or 30 of them in my flight box. And I saw people and they would look confused, and I took the time. I got a bunch of those out, and I went and I started talking to them, explaining what we were doing and what we were looking for, and I handed it. And those people were there all day.
Yeah.
They were teaching each other after that. They had those little trifolds, and they were telling them, hey, this is what, you know, and you know, it's an education thing along with it. Because
It is.
If you didn't know the rules for cricket seems pretty darn, I don't understand that, you know.
Let me wrap this up for the YouTube crew. We'll have an after party afterwards. You want to join the after party, you got to be a member of the Stunt Hangar Forum. You go get the link and at the bench. We're going to go back to Mondays and Fridays again. So we do this twice weekly at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Every time. It doesn't start at 10 or 11 at Central Standard. It's 7 o'clock. And I appreciate you watching. And let me see here. We need to close this out on YouTube. That hanger. And we'll go here live. Alrighty. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.
See ya.
Work.
Wait a minute. There it is. Okay.
Okay. Steve, I'll give this right to you, but John,